Right. I'm back. I'm back for another one. Roll the intro there.
You're listening to the Conscious Debriefing Show podcast on Anchor FM.
Alrighty. Welcome back to another edition of the Conscious Debriefing podcast. It is Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, roughly 2 o'clock, the 14th of September. And it is a lovely sunny day. I must say, I'm in my new posse at the moment. I'm going to take a photo because my guest here, I'm going to take a photo later and I'll show you the photo on my web pages and that. But cool, I'm here with a special guest. I'm here with Robby. Robby, my man, how's it? How are you?
Hey Jason, how are you?
Bit closer.
How are you, Jason?
I'm awesome, my man. Awesome.
Thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
No, thank you, Chana. Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it highly. Robby, as always, like what I tell my guests, give a short introduction quickly. What you about? Tell the listeners out there.
Okay, so yeah, I'm born and bred in. Well, not born in the Vaal, but I've lived here for 16 years, so I consider Vanderbijl Park my home. I've been in business for 16 years, so I consider myself a entrepreneur, businessman. And some of my interests or hobbies, a lot of podcasts. I love listening to podcasts and alternate media, because I think the mainstream media is full of crap.
Yeah.
Used to be a professional wrestling referee, couple of years, but also too much politics in any sport. So if people are full of politics and shit, I walk away.
Yeah,
because life is too short.
No, it is definitely.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm a pretty geek guy. I read too much. Sometimes play games too much, but I'm just.
Nothing wrong with that, Chana. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with that, Chana. I mean, I wish I can read. I mean, if I lay in bed and I read, I fall asleep. I just fall asleep.
Yeah, I also got that problem, and I get into bed at night and I read maybe 4 pages and I'm gone.
So,
yeah. My advice is don't read in bed then.
The last book that I was reading was Gangster State with Ace.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on page 30. I need to go back to it and continue reading that book.
Yeah,
Quite an interesting book.
It's too heavy. It depresses me too much to read it, but it's very important to read it.
It is very important to read it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Robby is also a ZACP member like me.
That's correct.
We are proudly ZACP. Moo all the way, 100%.
Yeah, I'm tired of the establishment. It's time for change.
Exactly, man. To all the Vaal Kraal members out there, I know you're listening to this because I am going to put it on the page. I told you guys I want to organize a meeting. We need to organize a meeting. Me and Robby, Robby's my first guest. One by one, I'm going to get you to come to my house, to my little studio, and we're going to have podcasts. So if you're listening, please, guys, come and join me. But I'll let you know on the dates on when we're going to have this meet and greet. All right, Robby, let's get into it quickly. The first thing that I wanted to talk about, I said I was going to talk random stuff to you, and I said that. But me, I like to have a little schedule. So the first thing, let's get into my screen here. I wanted to speak about the Nigerians that left the country.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not only the Nigerians. I see some of the Zimbabweans also left. The Zimbabweans were paid for by the government to leave.
Yeah, that's right.
They got free plane tickets and stuff. And what I did notice, what was quite weird, is that they can leave, but some of them, when they wanted to leave, they get to the airport and their documentation is not up to scratch. So they get, I don't know if they're being detained until their documentation is sorted out. But I just think it's sad that, these guys are forced to leave our country because not all of these guys are illegal immigrants and not all of these guys are sponges.
Yes.
A lot of these guys actually contribute to our economy in ways that we don't really understand. Obviously, if you are a tax evader and things like that, the law must catch up to you. But in general, these guys are hard workers. I mean, they gave up everything in their country to come to a foreign country, and I can't imagine what that feels like. But I think it's really tough to do something like that, and I think it's really bad that that's the impression of South Africa at the moment, is that we're not very welcoming to foreigners. And you know, if you've got a problem with the guy owning a tuck shop and you think that he's taking your job, just start your own tuck shop.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Don't just complain because that guy's taking all your business and things like that. That's what business is. Competition is brilliant.
You know what I find? I find that a lot of us South Africans, we don't want to work those long hours. Because, I mean, being a shop owner, you got to be there like 6 o'clock in the morning and you got to close 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Because, I mean, what time, for example, what time do you finish work?
So, yeah, my work day can start anywhere between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock because I work for myself. I'm flexible. But, yeah, generally, I work from about 9 o'clock to about sometimes 4:30, sometimes 5:30, sometimes 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not really a office hours. If you work for yourself, you work. If there's work to do, you do it. But I agree with you. I think there's it's a problem in our South African culture, is that, and then it's part of the broader entitlement culture, is that we want everything. We want to walk into a job and earn like 40,000 rand a month.
Yes. Before
we even have done the hard work and proven yourselves. And
we want that 9 to 5 job.
9 to 5 job, like what you think a CEO is doing, but I promise you, a CEO doesn't work 9 to 5.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, trust me, I know. Yeah, you're right.
So I think that's a big problem. It's something we have to change in this country.
It's skill too, Robbie. I'm very worried about the skill. We're losing skill heavy.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when the government start interfering with things they shouldn't. People get hurtful and they decide to leave. Yeah. And with the NHI happening,
that's another. Oh, geez.
We're going to lose a lot of doctors, not only necessarily doctors, but anyone linked to the medical industry.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a worrying thing that's busy happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the best thing that we can do is to riot in the streets and make people aware and sign petitions and support companies like Dear South Africa that actually take your voice to
Dear
Parliament.
South Africa,
Dear South Africa, I think it's Rob Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's recently joined them. That's right. He has.
That's right. Yeah.
I'll leave a link in the description for that. I mean, you must check it out. I think they've also got their own YouTube channel.
I'm not sure about that, but
no, they do. But they more or less this. The type of thing that they're doing is the same as Outers doing and AfriForum.
Yeah, civil rights activists. And that's what I always encourage people, that get involved somewhere with a civil rights movement in some way, whether you support AfriForum or whether you support Outer or whether you support Dear South Africa. Get involved, because the government are not going to listen to our voices. They don't give a crap about the average person in the street.
Yeah.
And we have to, as South Africans, we have to stand up, and because if we don't, we're going to lose everything in this country and everything that has been worked for over,
of course,
many years.
Of course. Well, here's this little article. Okay, it's not mine. I never wrote this. I got this from Bonga. Bonga, if you're listening, you copied it from somebody. So I just found it interesting. So I just want to quickly read it. 2 million undocumented West African migrants, mostly Ghanaians, were chased out of Nigeria in 1983. Around this time, Nigeria was not so long ago the strongest economic muscle in Africa, and Ghana was the opposite. Migrants were called aliens in Nigeria during the expelling and the horrific exodus. Dozens of souls were lost. About 4 decades later, what's that word? Conversely, it's seen as xenophobia in South Africa. SA taxpayers have been provisioned medical care, free schooling, subsidized electricity, water, social welfare grants extended to immigrants so that their children can be educated. They enjoy our land and infrastructures. They can open businesses and trade freely in any venture they choose. Relate this to any African country. About 7 million African immigrants in South Africa compared to few apartheid fighters who were in exile. This is nonsensical comparison. There were no more than 20,000 South African citizens in exile at any given time. Our exiles were given training camps out in the bush to sort themselves. They were asked for documentation and jailed if they went to towns. They were in barracks all of the time. Special cases applied to very few who did not have documents. Some of our fighters were expelled from Mozambique, in Zimbabwe and Tanzania, Uganda and others. It is in Angola, Zambia, few more where they were not expelled. Through xenophobia is condemned. Let us understand the reason behind the violent actions. Pan-Africanism and history does not level drugs, human trafficking, or prostitution. Open refusal to obey law and prosecution and adult perpetuating drugs, business and maintain that they don't force anyone to buy them is hatred to another human being at its best. Call my people lazy, then go back to your land and be strong there. Otherwise you are weak, coward. We are strong in that we fought for liberation. We love and protect our land. We remain in our land, fight for what rightfully our sake, our loved ones and the generation to come. You call us weak and lazy, yet when you revolt against your illegal doing, you call us xenophobic. Wow, what a mouthful. Sorry for my reading them. My pronunciation of my words sometimes sucks terrible.
No problem. Yeah, so basically what this is saying, it relates to the Ghanaians chasing out the Nigerians, or is it the other way around? The Nigerians being chased out of Ghana.
I think this whole xenophobia thing has been about the Nigerians, about the drug-related issues and that.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned earlier, not all of them are bad. I mean, there's a lot of them that meant good for our country, you know.
And you know,
they brought in good skills in it. Yeah.
The biggest thing is that not everyone is involved in drugs. It's a misconception. It's wrongly placed that all Nigerians are sell drugs and things like that, or have illegal churches and things like that. It's a misconception. Obviously, if a guy's got a church, that's not illegal. Like selling drugs, for example. I mean, but as long as the guy's paying taxes and not breaking any laws,
is he paying tax?
We don't know.
Just speculating.
We don't know. So I know of a Chinese company in Vereeniging. They do plastic recycling, and also everyone was telling me that but these guys, these foreigners, all the people I come into contact every day, they tell me
taking our jobs.
These foreigners, they're taking our jobs and they're not paying taxes. And like, I've seen this client's VAT number. Like, I know these guys pay taxes.
Yes.
And they are providing. They're not South Africans. They come from China. They've started a business in South Africa and they're making it work. And I think we as South Africans just need to, instead of criticizing these guys, if there's nothing stopping us from doing what they're doing, it's just our laziness or.
It is laziness, and there's a reason why I say it's laziness. I mean, look at the education level. I mean, what's the pass rate? 30%.
Yeah.
So if you're not on that level of understanding how economics works, because I've had recent podcasts where I spoke about economics. If we can just educate the people in the rural areas what economics means, for starters, basic economics, 101 economics, then I think people will reconsider what socialism really is, They'll reconsider it for a bit and pull themselves away from it and say, look, guys, capitalist is the way forward. I mean, making business.
Well, capitalism and free market, but, in any system, socialism, capitalism, communism, sometimes even you've got a mix of both in your economy. There's always corruption, right? So there's corruption in capitalism as well, and there's corruption in socialism as well.
Of course.
So, and what a lot of people get wrong is that they say that capitalism, everyone's greedy and everyone is also stealing and stuff. And I'm like, but there's a difference between capitalism and like what you call crony capitalism.
Crony capitalism. Thank you, my man. Thank you. 100%.
So, if you look, I mean, you can look at any country where socialism has been tried. There are some exceptions where in Sweden and things, but that's also not entirely a fully on socialist country. It fails eventually. It's a pack of cards. It works good on paper, but in practice, it doesn't work. Capitalism and a free market, it's the only way. It's the only way that human beings have managed to progress so far. We've halved the world's poverty levels by, I think it might be 50% in the last couple of decades.
Yeah.
And that's thanks to capitalism. The problem comes in when your governments start interfering in things they shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. The corruption in that, yeah.
Yeah, corruption. Also, things like they want. Education in our country is stuffed up because the government, they just legislate things that they think it sounds good. Oh, that's a nice law, but they don't understand the repercussions down the line. A 30% pass rate or 30% pass rates, 20 years later on, or 25 years later on, that's got a massive knock-on effect on your economy, where people can't read and write. They're unemployable. That will lead to people not being able to get jobs. Even if there is a job, they are unemployable.
Exactly.
They turn to crime, and maybe they turn to drugs with the Nigerian guys selling drugs to them.
That's it.
It's a vicious circle.
100%. It is. Look, I'm going to give you an idea. And a lot of my friends that I chat with and the previous podcast, I mean, we chat on Discord a lot. And just the other night, I was speaking to Wesley and a guy named Martin, and I was speaking about how I've taken one of my gods, and I'm trying to nurture him. So I in my parades that I have with my gods, I said I want to choose one guy, and I want to give him 100 rand, just not something big, just a small little cash injection, $100. I told him to go out there, go to the farms where they grow the chickens and that, find out how much are day-old chickens, and he can get them for 10 rand, 2. So $20. So he's got $80 to buy chicken feed. He built himself a little like hook, like a cage out of wood and that he's going to put the 2 little chicks in and grow them. Because in the rural areas, you can buy, a chicken for $150. They pay it.
Wow.
So you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to teach him business sense,
Trying to teach him a scalable business, because that business can be scalable.
That's it. I mean, if he sells that 2 chicken, that's $300. He can then go and buy another 3 or 4 chickens, depending, because he needs to rethink now how much money he needs to keep one side for feed.
Yeah.
But this is going to teach him that business sense.
Yeah, it will teach him that, and hope sometimes that's the only way to learn stuff. You don't necessarily have to fly through a university in order to run a business.
That's it.
You start at the bottom, and like Richard Branson says, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
If you've got an idea, run with it, and just never be scared to learn and try new things.
Yeah.
And what you're teaching that security guard of yours is fantastic, because hopefully it sticks, and hopefully you can start employing other people, and that's what's got to happen. And it's not going to come from government, right? Government are not going to create any jobs. They can create an environment. What they need to do is create an environment for businesses to succeed.
Yeah. You know what's sad, eh? When I spoke to a couple of the other guards, and they said, in the area that they live in the townships, and that they can't, because somebody will come there and steal it, So I had to be specific in who I was choosing. I approached this one guard and I said, are you keen for it? Do you have a place safe? And he says, no, he has. His father's got a house here in the suburbs. So it's fine. He knows his chickens will be safe there. But in the township, if they wanted to do something like that, it's not going to work. Someone's going to come, envy and jealousy. It's a typical thing nobody in rural areas wants to see you grow.
Yeah.
And my assistant has told me many times, and he pulled out of the township area many years ago. He lives now in the suburbs. And he agrees, if you want to grow yourself, if you want to further yourself, you need to get out of the townships.
Yeah.
Go into the suburbs, because that's the only way you're going to grow. Because when you remain in the townships, you're not going to grow. You're going to remain.
Yeah, I suppose
It's sad.
yeah,
It's very sad, Robbie.
It's sad, but I also suppose it depends what type of business you want to, do. You got like a tombstone business. I don't know. Maybe a tombstone business does well in the townships. I don't know. Or what I see when I go into the townships, what does succeed, and it's still a business, but maybe not as important as a chicken business, is the shebeens, the shebeen business.
The shebeens
is huge in the townships.
It's huge.
They're still businesses, but yeah, it sort of creates a very bad socioeconomic.
But not everybody can do the shebeen, and this is why I approached him, and I want to do this chicken thing with him, selling chickens. Something simple.
Very brilliant, because chickens. Yeah, I don't know much about chicken farming, but I think it's one of the. I think it's easier. It's one of the easier farming methods to do.
But it will generate the income, and then as it generates the income, it will give him that sense. I need to budget. You'll teach him. Of course, I'm going to help him. I'm going to give him guidance in it. And I don't think that 80 Rand will be enough. I think I'll have to give him maybe another cash injection to buy some more feed, because I think a chicken takes like 3 weeks to grow.
I don't know, but
I think it's about 3 weeks.
I like the concept, because, and this is where I think government should come in, and you know what?
Yes,
if you,
reform programs, these reform programs.
You know what? You're a guy helping this guy start up a business. Maybe bigger businesses can start supporting these smaller businesses like that. Government saying to them, look, if you can help assist this guy, and you can get his business off the ground, and he's becoming a 2 million rand a year profitable company, well, there's got to be some sort of incentive for you as that. And I just feel that taxes in this country are so high, we don't get enough incentives from government to do it. I mean, the only reason I pay tax is to stay out of jail.
Absolutely.
It's the law. It's the only reason that I want to pay taxes to stay out of jail, because I just feel that the government not doing much with it, and they can do a lot if they just think outside the box and incentivize people to help other people. It can work.
But unfortunately, I don't think it's going that way. I don't think government want their voters to be on that level. On the education level, because their consciousness will be unblocked, and then they'll start to realize that the corruption is deeper than what it is.
Yeah, I sort of agree with that in a way as well. If you can't read and write, that means you can't actually comprehend what's going on. You almost like a walking zombie. The government tell you something. You don't have the reasoning skills to comprehend and to logic it out.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why I say reading, just alone reading, forget about maths and finances, and just plain simple reading skills can get you very far in life, because you can comprehend, you can read, you can write. It's about, if you can read and understand what you're reading, you can the part of your brain that controls your logic.
Amen. 100%.
You can start to figure things out for yourself. And
but it's not just that. It's ethics and morality. Just those two. It's lost its meaning. It's lost its definition.
I don't think there's any moral government in the world. So.
There isn't. All right, the next one. Helen Zille and her new podcast. She's awesome, eh?
I actually wish there was a weekly schedule and I knew exactly what time is coming up, but it seems to be coming out on Fridays now.
No, is it Fridays or is it Mondays? No, I think it's Mondays.
Not sure.
It gets premiered.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. And the minute I hear it's coming,
no, you haven't watched the one yet from Max Dupree.
I watched that one. Max, I don't know.
She train smashed him.
Yeah, but he's a bit. I think I don't know. Maybe he's got early dementia going on there. I don't know. Or
because when Helen was cross-questioning him, and he's like, "Oh, I can't remember that one." No, I didn't say that. And then Helen, and then the video would pause, I'll leave the link in here to the listeners out there. I'll leave the link in. You gotta watch their podcast with Max and Helen. It's awesome. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you see, that is when I spoke about earlier when I introduced myself about alternate media, and also you can tie it down back into logic and reading skills and listening skills. Too many people in this country just accept everything that's read to them, and written, like for example Max de Pre with and
what's important to note is he wasn't apartheid. He was against apartheid many years ago, remember?
He was against it.
Slowly but surely, as years went by, he changed his tune, and he was like he's now for the government. That's the vibe that I'm getting. Am I wrong? Yeah, help me out.
Max seems to be a bit of a fence sitter. So, whatever's flavor of the day, and whatever's gonna get these guys customers to read their articles.
That's it. It's about clickbait, eh? It's exactly always been about clickbait. I mean, News 24, I used to read the articles. I just don't anymore. Mail and Guardian, I thought they were the last hope in giving free and honest reports. I don't even think anymore. I feel they've lost a... Help me out here. Am I wrong here? There isn't much news sites that you can rely on. Eh?
Just to give honest. Marula Media is sort of okay. But yeah, News 24, it's hit and miss.
Adrian Basson.
Adrianus.
Sê my wat jou naam is. My naam is Adrianus.
Yeah, I found that Helen Zille, she's extremely interesting, and
yes,
the fact now that she's not in party leadership anymore. She's
with IRR.
Yeah, she's with IRR now, and it's almost like she's got a new zest for life, and this is like the real Helen Zille. Like Helen Zille Unchained, and she's taking on these idiots in the media that have got such double standards. The one that the one episode when she was with Farai Heffaji, and
I haven't watched that one yet. She's the previous news editor for
City Press.
City Press, eh?
Yeah.
Not Mail and Gordon.
She might have been there as well.
City Press. No, you're right. City Press.
But a couple of years ago, there was that painting that was called the spear. That was a painting
the Zuma spear.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so she had no problem writing about that painting and sort of protecting the artist's freedom of speech and freedom of expression with that painting. She had no problem displaying basically a male's genitalia on a painting, but now she mentioned that she had got a problem if it's a female's painting, you can't be a feminist.
Let's not go there.
You can't be a feminist like that, and then you can't have your bread buttered on both sides. You got to choose. And always choose the side of logic, reason, and truth. Don't spin stories, because believe it or not, the public aren't that idiotic.
Yeah, true. She also wrote a book on what if there were no whites in South Africa? She did. I know she did.
Yeah.
I
haven't read that book. I actually don't know about that book. Very interesting, sure.
A few years ago, I think 2 years or 3 years ago, she wrote, what if there are no whites in South Africa?
Sure.
That's how I got to know her.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that book, but it's not a book I'm going to read.
That's depressing.
But
like you said earlier, it's books we got to read. We need to know.
We have to read it, but it's also just find a website that will summarize it for you. Don't waste all your time on 250 pages if you can just summarize it.
So true. Or just make a video on it.
Even better, find someone on YouTube that does a discussion about it.
Helen being with the IRR, there's another lady there. She wrote the book on. It was also. I can't. I've lost my train of thought now. What's it about the apartheid days and the struggle? And there's also a documentary, the AfriForum, Ernest Roots made on it.
That Anthea Jeffrey.
Anthea Jeffrey, yeah.
Yeah.
She also wrote a book, and she's also with the IR, speaking about Helen being the IR. They've got some interesting people in the IR. I mean, Frans Cronje mentioned in a podcast with Ronaldo that people were questioning him, are you going to like tame Helena to stop with her Twitter, or Twa, like she calls it? Eh?
Yeah.
Twitter, Twa, eh?
Twitter war.
Twitter wars, yeah. And Frans Cronje said, no, I'm not. She's going to continue. Let her continue. Let her continue doing her tweets and it. I want to. He's actually encouraging her, which is awesome.
Because freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. 100%.
Freedom of speech is, freedom of speech is a very, very interesting right that I think we as South Africans haven't truly even come to fully understand yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very important right. Obviously, hate speech is a whole different topic, but
yeah.
Freedom of speech allows, for example, if Jason says something and I don't like it, let's say, we have a disagreement on something. He has a right to say that, and I can't stop him from saying it.
Yeah.
I don't like what you're saying, but I will fight tooth and nail for your right to say it.
Yeah.
That's some famous guy that quoted that. But the minute people understand that, you can't censor things. And also, sometimes if you censor stuff, it's got the opposite effect. It actually just blows it up even more. Like, for example, with the old apartheid flag now, that's been banned. And like, that's just my point of view on that topic is that, look, I don't really care about any flag. I mean, even our new South African flag, to me, it's just a bunch of colors on a piece of material. But in anything, I don't like the government, sort of telling me what I can do in my own house, what I can display in my own house, what I'm allowed to and what I'm not allowed to display. For example, there's another thing where the government sort of interfere in our lives. A lot of municipalities across the country have got these ripple relay geyser control switches. So that
was the next topic. But go ahead. Let's speak about it.
They can switch your geyser off. So if Vanderbijl Park is drawing too much power off the national grid, they drop the demand down by switching off your geyser. And I'm like thinking to myself, but that's my electricity. I'm paying for it.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't have the option to switch off my electricity or my geyser. It's a silly thing, I suppose, or a silly example, but it's a slippery slope of government interfering in our lives unnecessarily. I'm not saying, get away with the government or whatever. I'm just trying to say that the government should have less control over people's lives. Obviously, like laws and murders and, around murdering and things like that. But in general, the minute the government interfere too much, they kill it. They kill whatever they touch. And and I'm not just talking about the South African government. I mean, many governments around the world have got the same problem. They over-legislate and kill stuff.
Yeah.
Private sector can do way better than what government can. And how dare the government tell me when I can take a hot shower? That's what it boils down to, stuff that.
Yeah, I mean, look at where we. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, look at where we living at the moment. Emfuleni. Here's an article here from the Citizen. Okay, the Citizen. Emfuleni municipality. Forensic report highlights 1 billion in extensive looting. Jeez, bro. I mean, it's crazy. How much money do they owe Eskom?
Yeah, this is obviously we come from the same town, and we see the same stuff every day when we drive to work. And I drive past sewage flowing into the river every single day of my life. I drive past the Riviera Hotel, which has got a pump station. I mean, Riviera Hotel is a fantastic hotel. It's actually a Vol Triangle landmark. But just across the road, you've got a pump station that has failed because lack of infrastructure and money that wasn't spent correctly. And this sewage is just flowing into the river every single day. Millions and millions of liters of sewage. I think that is the for me in staying in this area. That for me is the worst part. Besides the potholes, okay, because potholes are bad, but the fact that sewage is running into water and it's destroying ecosystems, and down the road, down the river where it flows into other dams, and farmers using that water to irrigate their crops, and I don't think we fully understand yet what impact this is going to have in the next couple of years, especially that South Africa is such a water scarce country. But yeah, man, Emfuleni municipality, they are under sort of half administration. Yes. I'm hoping that they would get into full administration. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. It's terrible. Yeah, and the other problem with Emfuleni, in my line of work, I get to deal a lot with Emfuleni, sorting out issues for clients. And, you know, I have the privilege sometimes, I don't know if you can call it privilege or honor, or I get to see what cars these guys drive, right? And I'm talking about like 2 million rand cars. You know, if you look at what these guys earn, I'm not saying that they're into corrupt stuff, but really the civil workers' salaries, how the hell do they afford to buy a 2 million rand freaking Mercedes Benz? I'm not saying that they don't have a right to buy that car. It's just, to me, you know, many years ago, the guys would not be allowed to buy such expensive cars.
Yeah, true.
It's just wasteful money.
I mean, look at the JMPD. They've got now these BMWs. Did you see that post? Okay.
I saw.
And my neighbor, we were talking the other day in Secunda. You know, that municipality is also crashing down. So the cars that the speed cops are driving, they are now little courses, courses and buckies.
They're using courses and buckies.
Yeah, for you know, to chase people down. That's what I heard. I don't know. I haven't got into it, but you get the idea. We're talking about the cars that they're driving around here. Just shows you how much money is actually being.
Yeah, it's just wasted.
Yeah, just blow it. KFC, chicken licker, no problem.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, the Emfuleni, on their financial statements, I'm not 100% sure on the exact figures, but they spent about 1.5 million rand on KFC takeaways. And this is my business brain inside of my head. You know, if they just put an extra 1.5 million with that, what they really were eating, they could have actually bought. Emfuleni municipality could have actually then bought a KFC franchise. Yeah. And they could have supplied themselves with chicken. I mean, they could literally have bought a KFC franchise if they just doubled what they were spending a year on KFC. And yeah, I'm not saying that people are not allowed to eat KFC, or I mean, it could have been Domino's, for example. But the point is that 1.5 million on food. I mean, really, I mean, these guys. Just pack lunch, man. Take it with you to work. True. You know?
You take Meyerton. Meyerton's run by the DA. Okay. I'm not really a fan of the DA.
No, me neither.
They were going in the right direction. I don't know. These last few months or so, they've seemed to have gone down spiral. But Meyerton, I know Meyerton. I used to work in Meyerton many years ago in the spa. There's no potholes there. It's clean. The town's clean. Everything's clean. The grass is cut, you know. So the service delivery is there. Yeah. Whereas we spoke about the potholes in front of Bell Park. Potholes is lank. Grass is high. The parks, there's no such thing as a park anymore. It's just gone for shit.
Yeah, there's no parks anymore. So we just call ourselves Van der Bijl and just leave the Van der Bijl Park out.
Everything's depending on the private sector. I mean, you go down to the casino here, they got that the dome. The water,
the water world.
Yeah, well, it's something like it. You know, it's all private sector, but the SOEs and government doing something for the public is just non-existent anymore.
Nothing,
dude.
It's failing. I'm not. You know, the municipalities are a problem. I mean, we speak about Emfuleni, but you know, there's another 200 odd of these in the country. There's like 16 or 18 that are actually functioning.
And we are number 2 on that list for the worst.
Yeah. Number 2 on the list.
Number 2 on the list. Sad.
My biggest concern is.
So why the fuck are we living here?
Well, it's because Donald Trump says that It's a shithole, right? So yeah, maybe Vanderbijlpark is a shithole, but it's my shithole.
It's
and
my
it's,
shithole.
and it's home. So
It is I know.
it's still home, and I still love the place. So I want to see it get better. And so I'll hop on this. Support civil society. I can't tell you how important it is. Support the civil unions, the civil action groups. They do very, very important jobs. I mean, just for example, AfriForum in Vanderbijlpark. I mean, a lot of the potholes that have been fixed in Vanderbijlpark has been fixed by AfriForum.
Really?
They haven't been fixed by Emfuleni. A lot of the stuff around this, especially the
I thought that was just like the public members, just
no,
normal. Is it AfriForum?
AfriForum donated the tar.
Oh wow, tips hat, man.
And they got the community involved to help them fix the. Yeah, I mean, on a couple of Saturdays you would drive, especially around some of the schools where the potholes are really bad. You see Otopis operating these Bomacs and things, steamrollers. The community just getting their hands dirty.
Yeah.
Even AfriForum have got these events. I sound like an AfriForum spokesperson, but I just not really. I just take.
No, you're individual, bro. You like me. You're just an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're individuals, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. People just need to support things like this. I mean, AfriForum clean up all the parks and stuff. If you see a clean park in this area now, I guarantee you, it's not the municipality that cleaned it or made it look nice. It's AfriForum.
I have actually. I've seen those photos on the AfriForum.
Yeah.
I'm also I'd like their page on Facebook, and I have seen that the public get in and cut the grass, which is awesome.
It's fantastic. But, my biggest challenge or my biggest concern in this country is not necessarily the municipalities, although that is a big one. Eskom is sitting on close to 500 billion rand debt.
Yeah, and not only that, they 60 to 70% overstaffed.
Yeah.
I've mentioned in my previous podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, if Eskom fails today, let's say all of a sudden something happens and the whole country goes blackout.
It's going to happen, bro. It's going to happen. I'm convinced it's going to happen. There's going to be a blackout.
People don't understand what happens in a blackout. You're not going to be literally. You are not going to be able to do much. You won't be able to listen to those podcasts.
Yeah, true.
For example, the other most important thing that you probably won't be able to do is draw money. You need money to survive. You won't be able to. You won't be able to get your salary paid.
All those people with their cryptocurrency and forex and that, they won't be able to do their deals.
No, it'll become like you'll have to trade with black market. So if anyone ever figures out that Eskom are going to crash tomorrow, the best thing to do is go max out all your credit cards.
Well, you know what? I think the government has get us up. They've given us a taste of what blackouts feel like with this load shedding that we've had previously. So we've got a taste of it. I mean, that's why people are going more to green, putting solar panels, unplugging themselves from the grid, eh?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily. They're not necessarily doing it because it's cheaper. They're doing it because at least they know when the shit hits the fan and the fan's no longer turning, that they will have some sort of energy way to generate electricity.
I mean, me and you, we spoke earlier about fiber and that's all underground, and that does work with electricity. But there is other internet solutions like Val Network Solution here in Vanderbijlpark.
Yeah.
You don't. If you got a generator and you got solar panels, you can still have internet. So there won't necessarily be a complete blackout. We'll still have means of having power.
Yeah, but you essentially won't be able to probably get paid your salary, so you won't be able to pay your service provider internet. So you'll be cut off due to non-payment.
I suppose. Yeah, unless they understand and say, listen, hang 10. I'm gonna find a way to make some cash. I will pay you.
Yeah, the other biggest problem is when there's a blackout is that you won't. I mean, the sewage is really running into the river, yeah. But the sewage will become a big problem then because they won't have any. You won't be able to pump the sewage anymore.
So why did we have the army here recently? Well, what was their purpose, Binya?
Apparently, they were assisting municipality into fixing the pump stations. I must admit that their hands are pretty tied at the moment because they're waiting for money to be released from National Treasury, so they can sort of do their shtick in the Vol. But I've seen them around. Every time I see them, I try to salute them, but they don't think I'm really funny.
Salute.
But I do think they're doing as best a job they can.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget. I mean, army. There is some skilled people in the army. There's plumbers in the army. There's electricians in the army. That a lot of people don't seem to realize, but they are.
Yeah.
Those departments are there.
Well, my biggest question is that all good and well that you got these guys to come and assist you into fixing infrastructure. And what happens when they leave? Again, it's like if a CEO steps down from a company and there's no skill transfer, no succession plan. You're just setting yourself up to fail again anyway. So, get the army involved, but train other people up. So when the army leave, they can sort of carry on with the project.
I'm with you on that 100. Coming back to what I said earlier on, why the fuck are we living here? The shithole. What do you think of secession? Starting the town from scratch. My previous podcast with Klipkop, we went into Yusuf Zeitland, touched a bit. I'm still. I said in my previous podcast I want to try and get hold of somebody from Oranje and have a podcast with them and find out how did they do the secession. But I want to hear from you. What do you think of secession?
Yeah, so I mean, in the last 10 years ago, I would never have even thought about secession. It's just recently that I've started with thinking of the idea of secession. I mean, I was in Oranje once. This is my story.
You were?
Yeah, I drove.
Awesome, dude. Share it. Go for it. Share it with us. I want to hear it. I
drove through Oranje. It's probably about 2003, 2002 sometime.
Yeah.
And like I'm English, right? So
I know. I hear what you're saying. You gotta, because Oranje is culture and it being Afrikaans.
I'm not saying that they came across very I don't know, rude, but
ek is 'n boer. En jy moet my luister.
En julle het ons gestraf in die oorlog.
Julle het ons gestraf. Ja.
And I was like, dude, I just need the toilet. Can I? And the dude was like, didn't want to give me the keys to go use the toilet. I was like,
no.
I was like, okay.
No.
I was like, okay, well, whatever. It's fine. Maybe he's having a bad day. But in those days, Oranje was really small as well. And, maybe I just was probably at like 8 o'clock at night. So maybe the guy had a long day. I mean, I can't judge the guy on that.
Okay. I can understand their paranoia. There's a lot of paranoia in that dorpie.
Yeah. But the whole idea of secession as a whole, I'm in a way favor of it. I just don't think that we should, the only thing is we should still have free trade across. So if we set up a country, you just set up free trade. If people want to come visit you, cool enough, have passports, or not passports like as in pass laws, but, have some sort of control. I think it can work. I think theoretically it can work. I just don't see the current government sort of allowing it to take place. I think they're going to kick up against it as much as they can.
Okay, that's I hear what you're saying. Oranje has been around since the 90s. Yusuf Zeitland, they've recently bought land in that. So, but I'm monitoring it. We're busy, and Klipkop is also busy monitoring them. He had a podcast with Brian Dalton recently, which is the president of Yusuf Zeitland, or Dalbarton. I think that's what they call in their town. I haven't listened to that podcast yet because my internet's been down for a while, but I want to still listen to that podcast.
Yeah, but I think secession can work in practice. I don't know if that is the ultimate solution to our country's problems. I don't know. I just think people are scared. They're scared of the unknown, and
that's the thing,
fact that they're talking about these things is not necessarily wrong or bad. It's good because it gets people talking out the box. I wouldn't even know where you would set up a secession area for.
Well, there's a lot of properties in the Cape, for example, like 10, 15 k's away from the sea. Ideally, you would like an area that's close to like a river where you can get water, of course.
And then what would your criteria be to join a secession?
There's many.
Area?
You can start off with tourism. Grow your own vegetables like aquaponics. You've heard of that, where you grow vegetables out of water and that. There's a lot of possibilities what you can do just to get the right one.
Yeah.
But obviously the funds, where would you get the funds from? Because these properties, these farms, 1,100 hectares, they go anything from what 5 to 10 million.
Yeah, you can pick up a 1,000 hectare farm now in just outside Bloemfontein for what, 2 million rand.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't know if that, necessarily a good. I don't know if it's a good buy or not. I mean,
Yeah,
farms are cheap at the moment.
They are. You'd have to go down and scope it out and check what type of infrastructure you can put in there.
Yeah.
But if you put your mind to it and you get the right connections, you get your IT guy here and you get this plumber there and this, I think you can do it.
Yeah.
I think you really can do it. Like I said, it's a concept now. I'm busy investigating it, and I'm speaking to more people. If I can get more people onto my show.
Well, secession is already sort of happening on a much sort of mini scale. If you look at all your security estates, your complex, like down the road here, we've got one called SE8. It's gated. It's behind walls. In a way, that is almost secession. Not entirely, but I think that's how South Africa is going to look probably in about, I don't know, a couple of years from now. I don't know, 20 years. You're going to have gated communities, and inside those gated communities, you're going to have. Are
we going to make it so for 20 years?
No.
I'm thinking 5 years. I think we got 5 years left. I don't know. It's an assumption. I know it's an assumption, but I think we got 5 years left.
Yeah, I mean, some of these security complexes have got like shops in there, and they've got schools, and these guys, it's a whole community. And the only thing that maybe not entirely in that estate is an economy. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are doing business together. I don't know.
No, I think they are. I mean, look at the Jews.
Yeah,
how they got their network structure set up. I mean, all the years. I mean, help a bikkie da. You help me, I help you.
Yeah.
I want to start a business. Okay, this oak will do advertising. I mean, he will record an advertisement from you and put it on. That type of thing.
Community supporting.
Community supporting each other. And the Jews did it for thousands and thousands of years.
Afrikaans people are synonymous with that. I mean, after the Anglo-Boer War, there wasn't much left of the Afrikaans people. And the Afrikaans ladies all started selling koeksisters.
That's it.
In their communities to get out of poverty.
Yeah.
They succeeded. And it's very great. It's awesome. I know, back to the xenophobia again, is that the xenophobic topic, the Nigerians and the Zimbabweans leaving, is that's what they do when they come to this country. They stick together as Nigerians, and the Nigerians operate within each other.
Yes.
They sell each other, they sell to each other, and they buy from each other.
Yes.
The Zimbabweans do the same. You look at the Uber drivers in South Africa, most of them are Zimbabweans, and most of them are also owners of the Uber cars. So they all buy the Uber cars, and then they get people to work for them. So they stick. So the Zimbabweans have got I won't say the total market share of Uber in this country, but they've got a fair size market share. And Somalians as well, they own the shops. The Pakistanis are a classic example, and they all buy from each other. And they all stand together.
And the Chinese with their bottle stores, same thing.
Chinese with the bottle stores,
too.
Exactly,
same thing.
That's how it should work. I just think I think it's viable.
But that's the type of, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say mentality. No, well, mindset that we need to get back. Because let's face it, us South Africans, we are drifting away from that. It's like, I stick to myself, I support my family, and that's it.
Yeah. Well,
and we're not going to go far with that type of mindset. We need to stick together, come together. And I'm not just talking about race related. I'm talking about everyone on the race court.
Race is such a small issue in this country.
It's crazy, man. It's pathetic. It shouldn't even be there.
There is racism. Obviously, there will always be racism, but it's not as bad as what I don't think is as bad as what the media make it out to be. I do a lot of work I meet a lot of people from all cultures.
Yeah,
and I definitely do not see it being a everyday problem all the time.
No, awesome.
I think it's just flare up of these things, So
it's these trolls, man. These social media warriors that just like to flare up unnecessary shit, man. Yeah. It's like they're employed to do that. That's their job. Their job is to Go on there and look for your Adam Cazzavello type of thing and say, woohoo, Adam, we're going to make you famous.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Total idiocy.
Totally, yeah, stupid.
And the only way to guard against that is, don't give these media guys any ammunition to use against you,
Yeah.
Just don't, if anyone is being, you got to be very careful today. Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot, 100%.
Don't be a Julius.
Yeah, don't be a puss.
Pray for mercy from Puss. Hey, Woods.
Dude, I don't know. That's it. Those are my topics. I don't know. Was there anything that you wanted to bring up that was in your mind?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't have much more to talk about. I can talk about a whole lot of stuff. I did write some stuff down here. Let me just see if I can.
Go for it, yo. Go. Was there anything else that you want to talk about?
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted.
This is your platform. Go for it.
The other thing I wanted to chat about is that, again, South Africa, the Vaal Triangle historically is been the industrial hub of Gauteng, probably of the country, and the economy is battling. I suppose not only here, but it's battling. Again, in my line of work, I get to see business parks that have got 12, maybe 20 warehouses, workshops, that type of thing, and they're sitting at like 50% empty. People are not able to pay rent and the high prices of electricity anymore. People are downscaling and they're moving their businesses back to their house.
Yes.
To try to save costs. Nothing wrong with that. If you can do that and it works, fair enough. You manage to save costs, but it's going to spiral worse and worse it's going to get worse. I see every single day how people also try and that they battle to pay their electricity accounts.
I see it in town a lot. I mean, you see these businesses spring up and then 6 months later,
yeah, they
closed. They fold.
Globally, it's the cheapest time to do business in on the global arena. I mean, you just think about the technology that's available today to do things. I mean, you've got email at the tip of your fingertips. You've got the internet just there. I mean, you can. The technology has allowed us to make it so cheap to do business. Then you got like Eskom and municipalities and these high tariffs of electricity, and it's tough, and it's pretty simple on paper to sort out. You've got to retrench these guys from Eskom. I'm not saying all of them, but you've got to retrench some people. You've got to cut down your costs.
Especially in the SOEs, yeah. Especially in the SOEs.
And change your tariff pricing structure. For example, most residences in this country, residential customers, the more electricity you buy from Eskom or from your municipality, the higher rate you pay.
Yeah.
And that's like saying to me, but the more beer you buy, the more expensive it gets. It's not true. If you go to the shop now and you buy 5 Coca-Cola, you're going to get it for a cheaper rate than if you buy one.
Scarcity, abundance.
Scarcity, abundance.
Abundance. Those are the words that come to mind.
Yeah.
Human needs.
Yeah, but you should be encouraging your customers, right, to use your product and drop the price of electricity, and you'll see businesses thriving. You'll see people flocking to this country to actually set up business, because the cheaper the price, the more people will use the product.
No, you're right.
It's a simple thing to sort out, and I said it earlier when I was talking about Eskom earlier. That's the biggest threat to me facing our economy at the moment.
Yeah.
The other things are obviously these problems, but this for me is the big one. The bomb is going to burst eventually if the government don't sort it out.
Yeah, I know, it's scary, bro. Shit. ZSAP, if you're listening to this, come on, guys. We need some plan of action, yeah. Ramon, Kenton Pillay, we need your help here. We need some plan of action. Next time elections are coming around, We need to attract more people. And this is it, guys. Capitalism works. But we need your support that there. And, listeners, if you're listening.
Capitalism is the only system that has proven to work.
Forget about what people say about crony capitalism and that, and about capitalism destroying the environment and that. I had that podcast with Beth. It's us. We destroy the environment, not capitalism.
Yeah, it's people. It's the
people,
same as saying guns kill people. It's not guns that kill people. It's people that kill people.
It's people that kill people. Yeah,
it's people. It's human beings that are destroying the environment.
100.
But the global warming thing isn't like what the media are portraying. That's a whole controversial topic, and I don't have enough stats to talk about it.
Yeah, that can be that can be another podcaster on its own. Anyway, Brew, I think that's it. Hey, Robby, you've been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much for coming.
I really appreciate it. I'm hoping to start my own podcast soon as well. So
we're gonna talk about it now after this podcast, and I'm gonna give you some hints in that.
Yeah.
Go for it. I mean, I was thinking about it. The more and more people put in podcasts, the more and more people become self-aware of and woke, that word wokeness. Yeah. Wake up from all this fucking cuck that's going on in this country. Ramon from Renegade Report, I've mentioned it countless times in my podcast, and he told me straight, I DM'd him once, and he said, go for it, Jason. Share my material as far and wide as possible. And I am, yeah. And because I love his stuff. The Renegade Report is awesome.
Yeah, the Renegade Report red pilled me for life.
Big time, bro. Okay, my podcast is available on Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. This one is on Anchor FM. I have recently subscribed to a new channel, almost like YouTube, called BitChute, which I'm getting a lot more views. I'm actually, strange enough, Robby, I'm getting more views on BitChute than what I am on YouTube. YouTube is censorship, but yeah, they censor. Anyway, so that's it, yeah. So my podcast is there on BitChute and YouTube. Lekker, guys. Keep the faith, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.